إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. طيب إخوة, we covered chapter on رضا, the sakht wal ghadab, the pleasure of Allah, the happiness, the wrath of Allah Azza wa Jalla. We covered all that. طيب, let's start the next chapter inshallah. Ayah Sifa al-Maji wal-Ityan. This ayah we're going to talk about also sifat of Allah Azza wa Jalla, attributes of Allah Azza wa Jalla, such as Maji wal-Ityan. Maji is coming of Allah Azza wa Jalla, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Let's read some of the verses that talks about Maji of Allah. Allah said, هل ينظرون إلا أن يأتيهم الله في ظلل من الغمام والملائكة وقضي الأمر. هل ينظرون. Here, ينظرون here mean waiting. We know نظر also mean to look. Okay, talking about are they waiting except that Allah Azza wa Jal will come down in shade of cloud, and the malaika will come so he can judge between the people. The ulama said this ayah is talking about non-Muslims. The non-Muslim, they will be waiting for nothing except the punishment of Allah Azza wa Jal for their disbelief, for rejecting Allah and His signs, rejecting Jannah wa Nar. So they will be waiting nothing but for the punishment of Allah Azza wa Jal. So this ayah is talking about non-Muslim. Here, nadhara mean to wait, not to look. The same thing comes, the word nadhara mentioned in other verses, but it means to look. When he mentioned ila at the front, to means to look. Like in the Quran, Allah said, وُجُوهُ يَوْمَئِذٍ نَاظِرَةٌ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهَا نَاظِرَةٌ. On that day, the face will be glowing, looking at their Lord. In this ayah, nadhara means to look, okay? But here mean waiting, because there's no ila in it, okay? It's not added to that. So it means waiting. Non-Muslims are waiting for the punishment which Allah has prepared. So Allah Azza wa Jal will come down to judge the people. Now there's so many hadiths and ayat that talks about the situation of Yawm al-Qiyamah. One of the hadiths, Prophet said that, Ya ayyuhan nas, innakum muhsharun Yawm al-Qiyamati hufatan uratan ghurla. All the mankind on the day of judgment will be raised, okay, barefooted, uncircumcised, naked, barefooted, uncircumcised. Yeah, you'll be raised, okay, in that hal, in that situation. So when Aisha radiallahu anha, but he's talking about how the Yawm al-Qiyamah going to be. Aisha, when she heard the hadith, she said, O Messenger of Allah, one day we're looking at one another. They're naked and they're going to be looking at one another. Prophet said, Innal amr ashaddu min dhalik. So the matter is greater than that for them to look at. So basically what it is, something that is huge in the dunya will become, in akhirah will become something minute. This is nothing, you're naked. Because there will be something else they'll be scared of. Al-hellfire, the hisab, the fear of where they're going to be. Tayyib shows the hal of Yawm al-Qiyamah. And Allah Azza wa Jal will gather the people on the day. We'll talk on the next verse that Allah Azza wa Jal will make them flatten the earth. It will be flattened. There's nowhere to hide. It will be flattened. And Allah Azza wa Jal judge the people on that day. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. On that day, whoever does an act of good shall see it, and whoever does an act of bad, atom of bad, shall see it. So on that day, Allah will come as a judge, and He will judge the people. The mizan will be placed. Now, regarding this ayah, talking about the kuffar, they will be waiting for the adab. Will the kuffar will be judged on the day of judgment? There's two opinions. First opinion says that Allah will judge them. Allah will show the bounty on them, that He favored them, ni'ma and all that, which they rejected, they disbelieved. For that reason, Allah will show them, remind them of the bounty that Allah gave them. That's one of the opinion. Second opinion is that Allah will not judge the kuffar. Allah will not judge their good deed. You'll be haba'an manthura. You'll be dust. You'll be nothing to Allah Azza wa Jal. You'll be destroyed. And Allah said in the Quran, and Allah mentioned in one of the ayah in the Quran, Allah said, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ وَلِقَائِهِ فَحَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُمْ فَلَا نُقِيمُ لَهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَزْنًا. Allah said that, I think Surah Kahf, Allah said that, as for those who disbelieve in sign of Allah, their Lord, sign, they disbelieve in Jannah and Nar, everything, they disbelieve in Akhirah, they disbelieve in Ba'ath, they have resurrection, they disbelieve all that. For those who disbelieve all that and they're meeting their Lord, all the action be nullified. Okay? فَلَا نُقِيمُ لَهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَزْنًا. And we will not set a balance for them يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. In the kuffar, Allah will not set a balance for them. Because all the action is nullified, everything has been nullified for these people. But look at the amazing thing about Allah Azza wa Jalla is that on the Day of Judgment, when a non-Muslim becomes the Muslim, Allah wipes off all the shirk and everything, the disbelief. Allah wipes all the good, bad deed off. But look at this. As for the good deed, for the non-Muslim who become Muslim, the good deed are added to the mizan. But Allah will not add the bad deed. So it wiped off. But the good deed is still there. Even they did at the time non-Muslim, because they're Muslims now, is added to the mizan. And one of the hadith, Ibn Hizam, radiallahu anhu, one of the hadith, he came to Prophet ﷺ, and they said, O Messenger of Allah, what about our good deed that we did in Jahiliyyah? When we're not Muslim, what will happen to that? He said, قَدْ أَسْلَمْتَ عَلَى مَا أَسْلَفْتَ. He said that you have become Muslim, okay, upon the good deed that you have done. Meaning that, the ulama says that all the good deed that you have done when you are not Muslim, because you are Muslim now, is added to your mizan. Your charity, whatever good deed you have done. The time Prophet Aisha was talking about this non-Muslim, and he was very Rajul Kareem, the noble man, generous, and everything. And Prophet said to her at the end, he died as a disbeliever. Doesn't mean anything. But they were good kuffar. I mean, they were honored. They will honor the people. They will treat the people. They will be generous. But because they were Muslim, it won't be accepted. But anyway, so show they are Muslim were good. But when they become Muslim, the good deed added to the mizan. So the kuffar will not be, the mizan will not be added, will not be set a balance for them. Will not set a balance for them because they're disbelievers. So based on this ayah, they say the kuffar will not be judged at all. Their amal, good deed are perished, and they will be taken to the hellfire straight away. So he's talking about that, but what we're talking about is that أَن يَأْتِيهُمُ اللَّهِ. This word يَأْتي, it is a doing word, present verb, mean Allah will come to them. Ityan. So ityan is one of the attributes of Allah, which is fi'liya, ikhtiyariya. We covered this, certain sifat of Allah, attributes of Allah. He does whenever He wants to do it. It's His choice whenever He wants to do it. So Allah comes down whenever He wants to come down. And He will, the way He befits Allah Azza wa Jal. We affirm the ityan of Allah the way befits Allah Azza wa Jal. And we do not say what the Ahlul Bidah says. Ityan it means amruhu or something like that. His order came or something like that. This is futile because Allah saying ya'tihumullah. Ya'ti, Allah will come. He will do the verb. He's coming down. He will come down to the people. Tayyib. Allah will come down to judge the people. But there's something else we need to understand. So Allah will come down. Allah will come down. Fi dhulalim, in shade from sahab, cloud. Cloud will be very white and thin. So what does fi here mean? Allah will come and He will be inside the shade. Nothing encompasses Allah. Allah encompasses everything. The ulama says here mean fi mean ma'a dhulalin, with accompanying the shade of cloud. Okay? It doesn't mean Allah is inside the cloud. La. Allah will come accompany. This is musahaba. It will accompany Him. Allah will come down. Okay? Yawm al-Qiyamah, and the malaika will come down. So the understanding is that was the evidence that the malaika from every heavens will come down on that day, and they will line up. And when they line up in sufuf, in rank, they will cover the creation. I mean the creation of Allah Azza wa Jalla, all the Bani Adam, okay, will be surrounded by the malaika. So there's no way to escape. You can't escape. So they will come down, Allah Azza wa Jalla will come down, and وَقُضِيَ الْأَمْرِ, to establish the command. He will judge the people, and that's when, that's what he is talking about, Yawm al-Qiyamah. But the important thing is Ityan, Allah will come down to judge between the people. طيب. So that's one of the verse, that Allah Azza wa Jal will come down. طيب. هل ينظرون إلا أن تأتيهم الملائكة أو يأتي ربك أو يأتي بعض آيات ربك. Again, same principle, هل ينظرون, يعني they're waiting, okay, talking about the people who will be punished, those who disbelieve in Allah Azza wa Jal, except they will come to them, malaika will come to them, okay. Some of the scholars say talking about when they take the ruh, okay, but malaika will come to them with Allah Azza wa Jal. As Allah comes down, malaika will come down with Allah Azza wa Jal. Ya'ti Rabbuk, your Lord, Muhammad sallallahu, the dhamir goes to Prophet sallallahu. Allah will come down, your Lord will come down, and some of your sign will come down. Some of your sign of your Lord will come down. So this ayah again talking about the coming of Allah, Yawm al-Qiyamah, the way He befits Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب. And when Allah comes down, the angel will come down with Him. He said, أَوْ يَأْتِي بَعْضُ آيَاتِ رَبِّكَ. Took a sign of the last hour. You know, Prophet ﷺ has mentioned, this Yawm al-Qiyamah, before it happens, that some of the signs will take place. And the hadith explains this ayah, is that raising of the sun from the west. But there are many, the major signs, there are 10 major signs. We're just going to mention this now, inshallah. Hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. The major signs are 10 major signs. And hadith لا تقوم الساعة حتى تطرش من مغربها, that the last hour will not establish until the sun rises from the west. Where does now sun rises from? East, isn't it? There will come a time it will rise from the west. And some of the scholars said that there's the 3 times when your tawbah is not accepted, or twice. When the sun rises from the west, and when gharghara, when your soul is about to go out, your tawbah will not be accepted. So there's many signs of the last day of judgment. Books are written, the major signs and the minor signs. Minor signs are 2 types. Minor signs already happened. Minor signs are already more to happen. We're waiting. And major signs are 10 major signs Prophet have mentioned, inshallah. One is the sun rising from the west, coming of Isa, coming of Dajjal, coming of Ya'juj and Ma'juj, the sinking of the east and west, okay, the beast will appear, and the fire will cause the people to go to the mahshar, طيب, the gathering. These are major signs that will take place. And the hadith says that when those major signs happen, then one will come after another. It's like if you have a piece of string and you have a ball on the top, if you drop one and the second one, you know how fast it comes. That's how fast it's going to come. It's going to, one after another. There won't be a gap, time period. So some of the signs of your Lord are signs which is, these are some of the signs will take place. And obviously, when the sun rises, khalas, no more tawbah will be accepted from the people. وَلَيْسَتِ التَّوْبَةُ لِلَّذِينَ يَعْمَلُونَ السَّيِّئَاتِ حَتَّى إِذَا حَضَرَ أَحَدَهُمُ الْمَوْتِ قَالَ رَبِّي تُبْتُ الْآنِ. Nisa, ayah 18, Allah said, there is no tawbah, repentance for those who did kufr, shirk, all that, okay, or any major sins, and until the maut comes to them, death comes to them and said, oh my Lord, I have made tawbah to now. I made the tawbah now. But Allah said, laysa tawbah, laysa tawbah too. There is no tawbah at this time. There is no tawbah, won't be accepted. Yadu billah. So here again we're talking about this hadith telling us that people were waiting Yawm al-Qiyamah for Allah to come down with the malaika in rank to judge the people. Subhanallah. Al-ayah thalitha. كلا إذا دكت الأرض دكا دكا وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا. Again, we're talking about Yawm al-Qiyamah. That surely when the earth will become flattened, okay, dakka means it will become flat. So Yawm al-Qiyamah, there will be no trees, mountains, nothing. It's going to be flat. Allah will make the earth flat, okay, because the next part of the verse says, وَجَاءَ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا, that your Lord, Maji, Allah will come with the angels. The malak here mean plural malaika. Mean all the angels will come in rank. Subhanallah, not to remain. Okay, they all come in rank with Allah Azza wa Jal to judge the people. So here, Allah will make the earth flat and He will come down to judge the people. So the earth will be flat. It won't be greenery or anything like that. It has even explained how the future is going to be, So it's going to be flat when Allah comes down to judge the people. Now the next verse is talking about يَوْمَ تَشَقَّقُ السَّمَاء بِالْغَمَامِ وَنُزِّلَ مَلَائِكَةً تَنزِيلًا. That on that day, when the heaven will be will open up, okay, and the malaika, when it opens up, the cloud will come down. Ghamam is sahab, will come down, and malaika will come down as well. But this ayah, Shaykhul Islam brings in this ayah to say that Allah will come down. So, but it doesn't mention it. The ulama says that the reason Allah mentioned this ayah means that Allah will come down as well, because the fact that the heaven will be opened up shows that Allah will come down, the malaika will come down, and cloud will come down. Okay, they will be accompanying Allah Azza wa Jalla. He will come down to judge between the people. That's what it means. Allah will come down, and when the heaven opens up, every heaven. We have 7 heaven. In every heaven there is a malaika. Every malaika will come down. So the first heaven will open. The angel from malaika from the first heaven will come down, will line up. The second heaven, third, fourth, fifth, until the top heaven. So every malaika will come down on that day when the heaven opens up. Now, مخالف أهل السنة والجماعة. They're people basically, they say that Allah, they deny coming of Allah Azza wa Jal. They say if you say Allah comes down physically, then what it means is that we affirming something for Allah, like bodily part. So the question is, does Allah have bodily part? We don't affirm, we don't negate, nothing. Because Allah never affirmed, we don't negate. Because when it comes to Allah's names and attributes, the 3 parts: affirmation, negation, and there's certain time we have to pause. Allah has the bodily part, we don't know. We don't affirm, nor do we negate. Because something never Allah affirmed or negate, He never spoke about it. So the Ahlul Bid'ah, the people who transgressed on that aspect, distorted, they say that we do not affirm the coming of Allah, because then you're giving Allah bodily part for that. So خالف أهل السنة والجماعة في هذه الصفة أهل التحريف والتعطيل. Shaykh ibn Taymiyyah said that the people who opposed أهل السنة والجماعة in this attribute, coming of down of Allah Azza wa Jal, the people who distort and people ta'til, who denies it. فقالوا إن الله لا يأتي. Allah doesn't come. Allah does not come down. لأنك إذا أثبت أن الله يأتي ثبت أنه له جسم. That if you affirm that for Allah Azza wa Jal, then you're saying Allah has a bodily part. Okay? فنقول هذه دعوة وقياس باطل. This is something that not accepted. لأنه في مقابلة النص, because this is opposing the nas. Because the nas, the text says that we affirm what Allah affirms, we negate. The principle is that we affirm what Allah affirms, we negate what Allah negates for Himself, and the text affirms that Allah Azza wa Jal will come down. Okay? So we affirm it, and we said that Aqeedah, when it comes to Sifat of Allah Azza wa Jal, what did we say? It's tawqifi, isn't it? We take it from the Quran and the Sunnah. The Quran established clearly, يَأْتِهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي ظُلَلٍ مِّنَ الْغَمَامِ, that your Lord will come down. Allah will come down. Clear Arabic. It doesn't say His command will come down. Nothing like that. Allah will really come down to judge between the people, Yawm al-Qiyamah. طيب? So it's got nothing to do with that. Subhanallah. So let's continue, inshallah. So we covered 4 verses regarding Allah will come down. His attribute, Ityan, Al-Maji, Allah will come down. Sifat al-Fi'liyah is related to the actions, and Ikhtiyariya, which is he does things which is upon his choices. So he will come down whenever he wants to come down, however he wants to come down to judge between the people on the Day of Judgment. طيب. Next one is Sifatul Wajh Lillahi Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Now we're going to talk about this, inshallah. This attribute of Allah Azza wa Jal, and we have mentioned that when it comes to Allah Azza wa Jal, we talk about Allah, what He spoke to us about. We don't add, we don't negate. Allah is the most truthful in speech. So whatever Allah have mentioned to us in the Quran, we affirm it by Himself. So we shouldn't, if anything, because if anything is unclear, inshallah, talk to me. But we affirm, like Allah is hearing and He is seeing, He has knowledge, He has anger, all this we affirm for Allah Azza wa Jal. He has mahabba, He has love for the believers. So we affirm this as well for Allah Azza wa Jal, inshallah, the way befits Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب. So the attribute we affirm for Allah Azza wa Jal is the face of Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah mentioned in the Quran, Ar-Rahman, He said that, وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. Now, Allah talks about everything will perish. Okay? كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. Afwan, Surah Ar-Rahman, Allah said that everything will perish. كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ. The ulama says that, is everything going to perish? Jannah will not perish. Jahannam will not perish. The malaika will taste the death. Some of the ulama say Hurul Ain will not perish. So their creation will not perish. So the ulama says, those whom Allah has will perish. Allah will say to the malaika, you're going to face the death. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Even the malaika will face the death. So nothing will, except Jannah wa Nar and Hurul, they will remain. But most of the creation will be perished, meaning they will face death. Kullu man alayha fan. Everything upon it will be perished. وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ. And what will remain? The face of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, the ulama says, the fact Allah mentioned His face will remain, doesn't mean all other Allah will remain, His whole that, His essence will remain. Not, Allah Himself will not be perished. Okay, except everything will be perished. So this ayah talks about that Allah has a face that befits Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah said, some people say that, how can we affirm this for Allah Azza wa Jal? Are we not making Allah like the creation? We say, okay, we're going to cover the next one as well. We say to these people, no, Allah has a face that befits Allah Azza wa Jal. Fish has a face, fish has eyes, okay? Clock has a hand. Our hand is not like the clock hand, is it? So everything that Allah has attributes, everything that Allah has that befits Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, it befits Allah in a way that befits Him. We do not give likeness to the creation. And now this attribute is affirmed by Ibn al-Qayyim. He says that, and the Salaf, وَكَذَلِكَ رُؤْيَةُ وَجْهَهُ سُبْحَانَهُ هِيَ أَكْمَلُ لِلذَّاتِ. That also seeing the face of Allah, glory be to Him, it is complete perfection for His essence. Okay, for the essence of Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب, in the hadith, Allahumma inni as'aluka lazzata naj ila wajhika al-kareem. Allahumma inni as'aluka lazzata nazr ila wajhika al-kareem. Oh Allah, I ask you the sweetness of looking at your face. Wujuhun yawma idhin nadhiratun rabbiha nadhira. On that day, their face will be glowing, looking at their Lord. Okay, who they be looking at? If Allah doesn't have any attributes, what are we going to be looking at? طيب. So this ayah indicates Allah has a face that befits Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب. Now, it says in the ayah, ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. ذُو الْجَلَالِ. Jalal wal Ikram, a sifa li wajh. It's a description describing the wajh, being Allah's face being glory, and Ikram is honor. Okay? So that's the description of Allah's face. It's unique. It's not the face of the creation. And Jalal wal Ikram is two names of Allah. Al Ikram is the name of Allah. From that is the name Al Kareem. And Hadith says, Inna Allah Kareem wa yuhibbul karam. That He is Al Kareem, generous, and He loves the generosity. As much as Allah is generous, we have to show it to Allah Azza wa Jal in worship as well. طيب. So Dhul Jalali wal Ikram is the attributes for the wajh. طيب. So this ayah, my brothers, clearly talking about that Allah has a face that befits Allah Azza wa Jalla. We affirm it. وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ. طيب. This is an amazing ayah. قل إنما حرم ربي الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن والإثم والبغي بغير الحق وأن تشركوا بالله ما لم ينزل به سلطانا وأن تقولوا على الله ما لا تعلمون. Say, O Muhammad, what your Lord has forbade, made haram, is the fawahish. ما ظهر منها وما بطن. Every fawahish, filth is apparent and hidden, and sins and oppressions, okay, done without any justice. All are haram. Allah made haram, harrama, okay? And to associate partner with Allah, which Allah never accepted in His legislation, never revealed. And to speak about Allah without knowledge. So to say Allah has no face, you're making Allah the creation, you're giving Allah bodily part, yadu billah, then you're speaking about Allah without knowledge. That's what it is. In another verse Allah says, وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ إِنَّ السَّمْعَ وَالْبَصْرَ وَالْفُؤَادَ كُلُّ أُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ عَنْهُ مَسْئُولًا. Do not say anything without knowledge of Allah Azza wa Jalla, without having knowledge. Indeed, you're seeing, and you're hearing and you're seeing, and your fu'ad, your heart, your limbs, everything, on that day will be asked about. So we have to be careful when we speak of Allah Azza wa Jalla. We have to speak with knowledge. We have to speak with knowledge of Allah, knowledge of the deen. And these attributes we are affirming, we establish in the Quran and the Sunnah. Imam Ahmad said that, Nasifullah كما وصف الله بنفسه في كتابه وبما وصف به رسوله ولا نتجاوز القرآن والسنة. That Imam Ahmad said that we describe Allah the way He described Himself and the way Prophet described the Sunnah, and we do not go beyond the Quran Sunnah. Yani, we do not speak about Allah without from the Quran and Sunnah. Okay? This is a famous statement of Imam Ahmad. So, my brothers, this is the verse which is a proof for us in Surah Ar-Rahman 27 that Allah has a face that befits Him, inshaAllah. Next verse, again talking about Allah's face. كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٍ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. That everything will perish except the face of Allah. Meaning that Allah Himself is that. It doesn't make sense that everything will perish, even the essence of Allah, but His face will remain. Yadu billah. La. Each indication that Allah will remain, He's ever living. Nothing will perish from Allah Azza wa Jal. Nothing will perish from Allah Azza wa Jal. So here again, كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٍ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. Everything will perish except the face of Allah. This is a dalil for us that Allah has a face that befits Him. In this chapter, the Shaykh brings only 2 verses. Okay? Okay, ikhwah, we leave it now. Next we'll talk about the Allah has 2 hands that befits Him. Okay? Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah. Any clarification? خلاص؟ جزاكم الله.